Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm Steve. Mark is at work, and this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back. It is the weekend, so we all know what that means. The coffee today has almond milk, vanilla, and a little good earth sweetener. We're going kind of easy. And of course, the unfinished basement. So, we're going to catch up with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me. She's going by Foodie Beauty now, and it seems to be appropriate because it's the old Foodie Beauty content. This week there was 4, since the last time we checked in anyway. There was 4, I've always said mukbang. I know it's not correct, but force of habit, I'll probably be saying it just like that throughout the rest of the video. So my apologies for my aggressive ignorance on that. Mukbangs are a little bit hard to watch if you have a problem listening to people chew and talk with their mouth full and stuff like that. But in the spirit of gotta get coffee talk in, I had to make do. So I've got my notes here. I've got the laptop open because the thumbnail helps refresh things a little. And I have some stuff from the community tabs because she was a little bit active there as well. So let's just dive right in, shall we? Now, where we left off, she did creamy pumpkin Alfredo fall recipe and mukbang. So she was eating, it was like field greens and pasta she cooked in the beginning of the video and then told a story and ate. It was, whatever. 19,000 views. Pretty respectable. The next video, Subway Chicken Bacon Ranch Mukbang. So, okay, before the video even started, she did a 4-minute commercial for Teamy. Now, I understand, Teamy, there's another couple people I follow that mailed stuff out to them, and they've spoken highly of it. I don't know if they've been sponsored with it. Chantal made it seem like there's like a pre-existing relationship there where she's had their products before, and even if they weren't just sent to her, she would definitely drink them. So, even if I wasn't partnered, yeah, and it helps with bloating. It's too critical? I don't know. Oh, 3 minutes into the video, there was an ad. Now, you could loosely call me a creator. I'll take whatever label goes out there. It seems a little grand to me, but okay. When I make a video, I don't normally insert... It seems greedy. I don't know. It seems disrespectful to put a commercial in 3 minutes in. I don't know. It's probably me. But she goes on to say, I know people say... people hate it when fat people say this. She's like, but I haven't eaten in like 20 hours and I'm really hungry. So she breaks out big sandwich, bag of Doritos, portion controlled, and then a Diet Pepsi. And she kind of just dives right in. You know what, with the Diet Pepsi, I'm not mad at her. I do that stuff too. Even when I was super duper heavy, I was still drinking diet soda. So, it makes no sense. It seems ridiculous because it makes no sense and it's ridiculous. But there you are. To make it beauty, I guess as far as Foodie Beauty, she shows off the lipstick she is wearing and then promptly wipes it off like a minute or two later. She leaves a touch on her chin. But I'm not mad at her. She wasn't filming in selfie, she said, so she couldn't see. So she starts to she brings up Charlie Gold, but before that she talks about an animation that somebody had filmed, or had made, about her. The creator's name, I think, was Stacy, and Chantal says that it was kind of eye-opening. She made it sound like a bit of insight had happened, that she had looked inside herself and had seen what others have been saying about her as far as some of her shortcomings, we'll say, and areas for improvement. And she said that she acknowledges, that she apologizes, rather, to Charlie Gold, and says that she was, rude or whatever. She also then starts to make excuses after she apologizes, saying that she has anger issues and mood cycles. So she extended an apology, and then afterwards said, but. Those things might explain it, but they don't excuse it, I mean, I've got some mental health stuff. Mood cycles, I'm diagnostically moody. Sometimes we hurt people when we do that stuff, and we do dumb things, but we're still responsible for our actions. It's not a get-out-of-life free card. So... and she refers to reaction channels that she was watching a lot of them overnight, and she said a lot of them are actually funny. And I think she just wants some breathing room to be like, okay, guys, I'm in on the joke too. Haha, just leave me alone. Well, I've tried that. It's like when you're getting bullied, like when I would get bullied or teased or whatever in school, and everyone makes fun of you and you kind of laugh along with the jokes, so you feel like you're not being picked on a little bit. And that's kind of sad, but it's kind of only one of the only ways you can cope. Like, that's what it kind of reminded me of. I don't know. And then she tortured herself by staying up all night watching videos of surgery and anesthesia because she's, kind of nervous. And as she's talking about being nervous, it's like laugh, 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 nervous, 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 chomp, chomp, chomp. So I'm seeing a connection here between her being, I mean, she eats for 1,000 reasons, I'm sure. But apparently nerves and anxiety are another one because she's just tearing through this food. Good news for story time, she says, in the middle of this, she says, I have had so many lovers. Lovers. Okay. I was a total hoe, apparently. Okay, and she said she didn't talk about this too much before. Whenever Chantal has said I never talked about this much before, it makes me wonder if she kept it really private or if it didn't happen and it's being generated, or it's a small piece of her life that she's magnifying to make it grand enough to tell as a story. Chantal is a hoe. No slut shame. Get it in. Be safe. Don't mess with other people's husbands and wives. Whatever. Do you with that. No shame around that. But as far as being a hoe, and I'm going to channel Blanche Devereaux here talking to her promiscuous niece, a person, I'm not saying Chantal's not attractive. There's a lid out there for every pot, I found my lid to my pot. But a person doesn't have to be attractive to be a hoe. They just have to be easy or available. So, I used to brag that I was highly promiscuous when I was younger and sowed my wild oats. I was just not very picky. You looked at me the right way, you bought me a drink, I would do whatever. So, yeah, I could call those my hoe days, but they were pretty sad and pathetic at the same time. Not saying that maybe she had a good time, maybe she did whatever, maybe it never happened at all, who knows? Something does come up in a little bit later in a story time. That's sort of in the same vein, but... So, then there was a community comment that came up, and this goes back to, I don't know, bullying. Chantal has an overarching theme of she feels like she's being bullied and picked on and stuff like that. And there are people that say unbelievably cruel things on her pages before the comments get taken down and disabled. Vicious. Like, go after her character, go after the deceit, go after the things she does that are, manipulative maybe. But there's kind of like death wish type stuff. Like, that's not cool. Like, I don't think that's cool. I wouldn't post something like that on somebody's. I would hope they wouldn't do it on mine. There's a lot of things to be picky on about me, but I would hope someone wouldn't wish me dead. Or if they did, don't write it. Like, come on. So she did take some issues, and also she's again defending Amber Lynn Reid and drawing her into it. I don't know where Amber Lynn feels about Chantal on this, or if she even knows or cares that it's happening. But one of the things I did notice, and this was an observation, Chantal, her face looks different. It looks more full than it did about 6 months ago in watching her. She suggests in the community post, which is laden with criticism and defending herself by being a bit, like that, saying to her, oh my God, you look fatter is discrimination. No. It's not, actually. Maybe it's insulting. Maybe it's just an observation. As much as saying, oh, you dyed your hair a different color. Oh, the shape of your face is different. I'm not implying anything by that. We can speculate as to why your body might be bigger than it was before. It could be bad lighting. Who knows? But, I don't know how many of us would be wrong about that. But no. I'm not saying you're any less worthy as a human being because the shape of your face may be different. I'm not saying you're any less worthy of dignity and respect as a citizen of the planet. I'm just saying your face looks a little more round. That's all. No more, no less. She also says she doesn't need people reminding her of the calories in the food that she's eating. I think with mukbangs, I've even seen videos that are calorie counts of what people eat. Point taken, but when we went on the keto journey not so long ago, that was another defense as well, and you gained 8 pounds. So, no knowledge without action, awareness without action is nothing really. So, I'm aware of how much I'm eating, and it keeps me at this weight. I'm aware of how much you're eating, and I'm not surprised that things are challenging, that your weight is a struggle. So, I don't know. So anyway, after that lovely affair, we go for mall food. But pizza's in this video, so it's okay. So the video is titled Mall Food Mukbang KFC and Chinese Food. He's in the thumbnail. If he wasn't, I wouldn't have been thrilled to watch this. Now this one's a little more fun. So they go to the mall to get food. They don't show the mall. They're sitting outside eating. And she gets spring rolls and General Tao's chicken. Now I had a small debate on pronouncing this. It's TSO. Is it Cho? Not Cho. Chow, Sao, or Tao? I've heard it pronounced all different ways. I've always said Chow just because. I don't know. But again, I'm talking about mukbangs, so take my pronunciation with a grain of salt. She mentions changing her Monday schedule, dinner mysteries, the story times, that kind of stuff. She changes her schedules a lot. Then there's a period of silence, and randomly Pete says Rob Schneider was very upset about a bad review of Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, that he got from Roger Ebert. Crickets. Even Chantal looked a little taken aback. I just love Pete's. Anything to break up the random chewing of a mukbang is fine. Then she cuts to a squirrel, because I guess they're outside. They are. Then she cuts to a thing of that. Chantal asks Pete, what's your favorite part of the chicken? He says the skin. This man is my heart. She was coming up with ideas for adventures with Pete's, and Pete's ideas were blackjack, cocaine, and hookers. Every day I'm loving him more and more. And she says afterwards we can go for a walk, because she's supposed to be 15 minutes a day of walking was what I think was suggested pre-op to build up her endurance and her stamina, so she'd be in the healthiest spot possible, given her circumstances, going into this surgery. She says when she's at home, she'll walk in place and take breaks. So she's not going out for a walk, she's walking at home. Any activity is better than no activity. Do do what you're going to do. She said she's still eating unhealthy stuff as she's like putting down some my fun. And she's trying to improve her fitness. And then Pete's, again, after a bit of a pause, sums up this channel perfectly. And she's like in on it, sort of, but I mean, it had to dig a little. He said, quote, "Eat garbage so you can make money to eat garbage," end quote. If that doesn't wrap it up in a bow, I don't know what does. So that ends and they allegedly go walk. The next is Panera Bread Quickie Mukbang. So we're back in the car with the tray up to here. And she's eating in the car alone. So, diet, ED doctors, guidelines be damned. And she goes to Panera, and broccoli and cheddar soup and a caprese sandwich. That sounds really good actually right now. And an apple for later. How about I think that apple is for never? I don't see it. I don't know. And a Diet Pepsi. Again, it sounds so stupid because it is so stupid, but I do the same thing. I can't be a dope and say, when I do it myself. So she tells this touching story about a seagull in the parking lot eating Dorito crumbs. I don't know. And she mimicked the sound of the seagull, which I won't. But it sounded somewhere between like a dog and a sea lion, a little bit, when she mimicked it. And it went on too long. She talked about what she's going to kind of do or try to do. She was kind of all over the place in this video, this way and that way. There was no real, set topic. She talked about, should I pre-record videos for when I'm going to be off for my surgery? When I'm recovering, maybe do some recovery videos. And then she says, I recorded this for, quote, those who like to see my face every day and who love Panera Bread. Now, if I loved Panera Bread, I don't know if I'd want to watch someone eat it. I don't know. I don't know that I would even watch a video related to Panera Bread if I liked Panera Bread. I like let's say I like Burger King's chicken fingers. I don't know if I'm going to go on YouTube and seek out videos about them. Like, I don't know. So it's pretty much if you just want to see her or you want to see her eat. That's the gist of it. And those are relatively new. They're in the tens of thousands as far as views go. So then she talks about having messed up dreams and doesn't elaborate on it at all, just says it's probably the psych meds. I'm with her. I've had messed up dreams changing psych meds. I've had a number of adjustments over the years until I got to the cocktail I'm on now, and especially like antidepressant medication. Horrible, vivid, like vibrant colors. Everything's in Technicolor, full sound. You doze off for 5 minutes and you dream a 4-hour dream, like those kind of things. So if she's having nightmares, anything could be causing them. But if she is saying it could be that, I agree with her. I think it could be, because it has been for me. So, and then she says she's going to Costco to get some nut butter and that she's craving seafood and she's going to pick up seafood, fruits, and veggies. Okay. She didn't have the seafood, the fruit, or the veggies the next day, because the next day, for the next video, she had corn dogs and cheese sauce, and that was the mukbang for that. She didn't label it as a story time, but it was a story time. She also said in the beginning, and this was in text, that this is going to be the last mukbang until after her surgery, and then it's going to be vlogs about post-op and stuff after she has her hysterectomy, which is going to be scheduled, I think, for October 3rd. So, thoughts and prayers for Chantal that surgery goes well. More thoughts and prayers that it actually happens, because I'm having concerns about her self-care leading up to surgery. That's how I can put it nicely. So she tells a story. Now, there's something, before I go into the details, there is something unbelievable, and this isn't because it's Chantal. This could be anybody. This could be anybody. There's something extremely disgusting to me about watching someone eat a corn dog dipped in cheese. I'll tell you why. First of all, I don't like cheese and corn together, but that's a personal preference. Like, I just kind of don't. Given the phallic nature of a corn dog, and then dunking it in a liquid, a viscous sort of thing. Maybe this does kind of relate to Chantal. And then shoving it in, not taking a bite on the side, but going the direct route forward. There's something about that just doesn't sit well with me. Visually, it doesn't sit well with me. Probably best eaten in private. I would think. Maybe I probably have a filthy mind. That's probably my hang-up more than everybody's. But just saying, it was difficult to watch. I kind of took notes, not really looking at the screen too much. So at any rate, it's a story time. And she talks about being the fat friend as a teenager. Once I came out, I was a little bit bigger than the other guys. I was only a twink for like 20 minutes when I was 18. And then after that, I started to get fat. So I was the fat friend. I believed this part of her story, that she felt left out and ostracized and like she was just the third wheel all the time. Because when you are the fat friend, that is how it is. So that part I get. She said she was picky, but still would have liked some attention. I can relate to that, because I was picky too. But sometimes being picky is a smokescreen for saying, like, I don't care if you like me or not, because I didn't like you anyway. When it's really like, no one even looked. No one even looked at you. At least that's how I felt at the time. So then she says, one time, and she's telling a story. So she's at a bar, and at the bar she goes with a couple friends, and there's this one pretty girl who's friends with her, and Chantal finally gets this guy's attention, and they're chit-chatting and having a good time, and then they go to like an after party. And cute guy that Chantal met and the friend, they all go together, and then Chantal's guy and the friends start talking, and Chantal gets left out of the loop. So she's, again, just the fat friend, and she tries to leave quietly. And as she's leaving this house party that they were at, some random guy tweaked out on God knows what tries to put the moves on her. One thing that caught me off guard about her story, she said that she was at a bar with her friends and then they left to go to a house party. But then when she was at the house party, she talked about the guy who wanted to feel her up being a mooch because he didn't have his own booze and his own cigarettes. And then she goes on to say that she was underage, or that when you're underage, those things are hard to get. You know, your cigarettes and your alcohol. They are when you're underage. So either they went to the bar underage, because I remember when I was a kid, like I was 18 or so when I went to New York City. And a friend of mine and I, we went to bars when we were 18, but they would like ban us so you couldn't go get a drink or whatever. Um, so you could go into bars underage. So maybe it was that kind of a place. Maybe they snuck in. Or the only other alternative is that the details don't line up and the story's a huge lie. Uh, I can't guess at which is which. I can only, report back what I heard. So maybe I'm misunderstanding it. It possibly that. So that was the last video that she had up, and I just know she'll put one up later today, just because. So the epilogue to this story about the pretty friend who did that. And by the way, I really felt for Chantal in that situation. That friend sounds like a total BTSCH. Yes, I misspelled it. I don't know what they look for when they do the monetization thing, because sometimes it's messy. But at the same time, Chantal said years later she saw that same pretty, nidge of a friend down in an area of Ottawa where homeless people reside, and that the girl was pregnant and that Chantal bought her a coffee and gave her a 20. Now that sounds like poetic justice, but so perfect that it's almost unbelievable to me. And I hate to say, like, well, I have no reason not to believe her, but other things have been untrue before. The truth and a lie aren't sort of the same thing. It's like one or the other. So, I don't know. If it did happen, good. Like, that makes for a good story. I mean, it's unfortunate for the homeless pregnant woman, regardless if she was a biatch or not before. But, I don't know. Who knows what to believe anymore? So, that's where things are at the moment. So this is the last mukbang. So apparently she's going on a liquid diet going forward. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Surgery is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Again, I have very strong concerns about how she's taking care of herself prior to surgery. I'm thinking back to, this is the only parallel I can think of, like if you've watched 600-Pound Life, and Dr. Nal, who would have a field day with either her or Amberlynn, I'm sure. He'll give patients like a weight loss goal and say, in 2 months, lose 60 pounds. So it's like roughly, it's a little 8 weeks. It's a little over 8 weeks. And a person will do jack for themselves for 7 weeks. And in the last week, try to go hard and then go to the doctor, and then they don't make the weight that they're supposed to lose. And then they tell the doctor, but I've been working so hard. Well, yeah, you've been working hard for a week, but for the previous 7, you've been doing nothing but ordering takeout. So that's how I kind of feel, like too little too late, or surgery's going to have to get postponed because something that should have been taken care of by Chantal wasn't taken care of. So I hope for her sake, things line up and go in a good direction. But my concern is that she's not doing everything she can to help herself, and that it could complicate things later. And that is a mess that she could help fix. If she wants, I think, the best possible outcome, and who wouldn't? Why wouldn't she? Following the directions she was given much more closely. The directions that she's volunteered that they've given her. So I'm not saying I know best about what pre-op for a hysterectomy is. From the bits of information that she shared with us, that they shared with her, it sounds like there's more she could be doing. So Chantal, if you're listening, and I don't know if you're narcissistic enough to, search yourself, or if you're just torturing yourself watching reaction videos, I am nobody on anybody's radar, so she probably isn't. Which is kind of freeing, because I could say what I want. But if you are, take better care of yourself, please. It doesn't end well. Like there are points of no return at a certain pace. It goes from huffing and puffing walking to a walker to a wheelchair. It gets septic after surgery. Wounds don't heal correctly because the incision is 18 inches long. It could be better. Life could be better. You know, that's all. That's all I got. If I watch one more mukbang, I swear to God. At any rate, thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteve_and_Marc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and contact info is listed below. Thank you all for watching. Happy Saturday, and I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Bye.